Hi, and welcome to my next vlog, which, as you will have read, is all about, for all of us stressed, busy, overloaded people, overriding that system in our brain that says, I don't feel like doing it, I'm too stressed, I can't think straight. And I've been researching this today and watching a lady called Mel Robbins, who is a speaker, motivational, she's a book writer, and she wrote the 5-second rule. And I'm left feeling so calm and grounded because she basically does a lot of what I do as a coach, which is focus on what works and then take out what doesn't work. But she uses this thing called the 5-second rule, which she accidentally stumbled upon, where she was pretending she was a rocket ship. So she was thinking, I'm going to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just do the thing. And it's used in sports, it's used in neuroscience, because it's overriding the brain, where the brain will procrastinate, and it focuses onto the prefrontal cortex, which focuses on action. And as coaches, we are all about building people's beliefs so that they can believe in themselves and then take the action. And very much a lot of what I do as a coach is take action to build beliefs, and I back engineer it. So it's all about forcing yourself into the action. You start to believe, you start to repeat, and then retweak things that work, and then you find your formula. And this all builds around my passion tool set, which we focused on previously. Your powerful context, what do you do that you're passionate about? Are you authentic and real to yourself? Do you say what you're going to do? Do you stick to what you're going to do? And then the next one that I'm doing today is the index, which is your index for life, which comes from your beliefs, your self-talk, your conditioning. So this is all based around what Mel's been talking about. And yes, it's very much talking about faking it till you're making it, take the action. And as I say, Mel's stuff is groundbreaking because she's worked with a lot of scientists to write the book on the 5-second rule to override the procrastination. And even talks about Damasio, who is a neuroscientist, who says all our decisions in a daytime come from our feelings. So it's overriding that feeling of I don't want to do it. But she said it's also looking to your inner self and trusting your inner gut feeling. And you know when you should be listening and not listening. Like she was saying, you know when you're listening, when you're saying you probably shouldn't have that extra bottle of wine, or I should probably think about this contract before I sign it, or big decisions like that. Yes, you need to stop and think. But she said for things like picking up the phone to make a sales call, or to go speak to the potential new customer to ask them for a new contract, or any decisions that are hard to do in your life, those are the ones that you should be doing and not taking the time to procrastinate. And your inner self will know the difference between the two. So what I wanted to just leave you with was 4 things to help you on the road to, yes, take the action. Like when you're starting to build your belief and your confidence in, say, your new business or your project at work, or you're in a new team and you don't feel very confident, or you don't feel you can communicate. Yes, just jump in, take the actions, just do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and do whatever it is you need to do. But these are 4 things that will help you build the belief along the way while you're taking the actions. Because I'm finding now that before I was just pushing myself to take the actions, but now I'm really starting to believe in myself, and the actions are becoming habits, and I'm becoming more of a confident coach. So the 4 things I focus on along the way when you're taking the actions to continue to build belief, so the belief becomes natural, is number 1, who are you in this situation? Who do you want to be in this situation? And I think for me as a coach, I was always like, I just want to help people. But people don't want to be helped. You've got to understand what is it you can provide them. And so I've slowly been able to find out what are my strengths and what type of coaching do they lean towards. And I interviewed a CEO before Christmas, and he said, oh, well, Rachel, yeah, you're a strength coach. You're like this other strength coach I deal with. And I was like, oh, I'm a strength coach. So sometimes you've got to hear it from other people to see how you're landing with them. So don't just go and be, I want to help everybody, or this project's just going to be amazing, or I'm just going to start this company up because it would just be amazing for everybody. Find out who you are and who you're going to be to other people, and why that will be important. The second thing along the way of taking the actions is and knowing this clarity, so that the actions you're taking are more likely to hit the solution, is understanding what value you give people. And mine was always, I want to leave people better off. While I'm working with them, when I finished, I leave them better off, and I leave them able to self-coach themselves. So I've designed a tool set that allows them to become intuitive in knowing when they're procrastinating, what's working, what's not working, and then they can recognize that by looking at the tool set. So that gives me a clarity of focus when I'm talking to people. The third thing is knowing who is the person, who's the target market. So for whatever project it is, whatever skill it is, what is your intended result? And so again, I've had to really focus on what do my tools give to, I was looking at working with teams, because then that way I can make more of an impact working with more people rather than one-to-one coaching. But then I started to ask people, what is it in teams that you're dealing with? And it turns out it's a lot of people holding on to control and not being able to delegate, and then getting very stressed out, but then not being able to implement training because they don't have enough time. So that very quickly became my focus of my clients, and now I know precisely who it is I'm targeting. And then the fourth thing is, what's the problem you're solving? So again, I've been able to research, speak to a lot of HR directors and specialists, and say to them, what are you dealing with day to day, and what would be a great solution to the stress, to the lack of time, is a system that can be learned as you go and implemented very quickly and provide immediate benefits, because people just don't have time. You see on social media, people scroll past posts, they don't have time to read stuff, maybe just quickly look at a picture. So those are my 4 things that I give you as a way to focus along the way while you're acting, while you're doing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it, as Nike say. But making sure that along the way that you're not just throwing yourself out there with not knowing who you are, what your message is, what it is you want to achieve. Have that clarity, those 4 things, that clarity of the impact you want to make, who you want to impact, who you are whilst you're doing that, what's it satisfying for you and for them. And Mal Robbins was talking about this very much, the fulfillment it gets missed off everything. It's very easy to be successful. And then in the course of it, the problem that you solve. And that will help with the whole idea of actions, even when you don't feel like it. So I hope that's been helpful, and I look forward to our next vlog.